All right, thank you, QuickShot. Adding a little bit more fire to it all. What a way to start the tournament, the group stage for G2 here. Jankos had said in that short clip of him we had earlier that the Western teams were coming in with confidence, but they did not have an easy schedule ahead of them.
Let's ask Raz about the
Oh
prediction.
my God, I knew you would do this. I just knew it was going to happen. So like going into the draft was important because for me, Clid started this one out incredibly smart, had an idea that the wave was starting to crash into the top side, and he needed to be there to protect them.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, because of the draft, he had to kind of go for this path to beat top lane in case there's an early tower dive happening. And as you can see, Caps and Jankos already here. Classic G2, knowing the strong side is top, and Caps are willing to sacrifice mid a bit to try and get this kill, but they don't get it because the Lee Sin is on top side, so that was a smart move.
And there was a lot of inaction in terms of kills in the early game, but the first kill actually came at Marta's behest. Now, before this clip starts, Marta had actually used Aftershock on a trade, and support Nautilus, he's no super tank when he doesn't have that Aftershock up. So he goes for an opportunistic hook, gets one that he can't actually bank on, and gives over first blood in just 2v2 fashion.
And this was just a pure snowball in the sense that SKT doesn't have a lane that they could play towards, where Clid is up on top side to be able to defend him, and that was a great run at the first time around. But if you look at how the draft was able to orchestrate itself, Teddy on the Ezreal with the Nautilus, there's no power you could play through in the bottom side of the map. I would have much rather have seen a Varus there, so suddenly, if you wanted to find a play on the bot side of the map at level 6, you could do that.
Yeah, and when we introduced the teams earlier in the day, you know, Papa Smithy, you introduced SKT as a team who's probably a little bit slower, a bit more control is kind of the style they used in playoffs to win the LCK, and that's how they're going to start MSI. And that's what we got to see here in the draft. Like, they opted into putting Sylas top lane against the Jace when they'd already seen Jace Elise on the side of G2. They said, okay, you know what, Khan, you're just gonna have to try and survive. We'll help you a little bit. And then they pick, you know, Ezreal Azir, who's not exactly the fastest characters in the game when it comes to actually early game impact. And it just meant you ended up with G2 looking at this draft saying, we know exactly what to do. We're gonna hard win top lane. The moment we get an advantage there, we can now start forcing plays around the map. And they are so good when they come out from base of knowing we're not just going to run back to lanes and do nothing. No, you know, two people go mid lane, the dual lane in this case, everyone else goes top lane. You're now hitting two turrets at once. And SKT are like, hang on, we need like 25 minutes here at least. And at 25 minutes, Nexus died.
I mean, I think a lot of things kind of came out to chalk the way we expected and built up these two teams coming in. But the thing that, you know, really kind of landed home for me was the speed, this idea of speed that G2 plays with, and almost quicker than I can think here as an analyst with the omniscient view, they're taking advantages that I'm not seeing.
They didn't lose a step. I honestly, like, the whole talk going into this event was like, Mickey X, is he ready? He certainly has been practicing, so my concern was like, if they come in, is that raw confidence that they had during the regular season and in the playoff run going to be missed a little bit? Will they have like slip up in their first few plays in the game? And they legitimately did not. They just slammed them.
It was super standard. You know, I tweeted out two things before we started. Obviously on broadcast, I had the G2 prediction, which surprised some people. And I actually think SKT might go on and win this whole tournament. And the reason I can hold those two things in my head is that MSI isn't won on day one of the tournament. And SKT, from the draft and from what I saw from them most recently in the LCK, they were bird watching. They were sitting back and saying, all right, I don't really know where MSI 2019 is at. I realize the irony of bird watching with Azir in the mid lane. But they were sitting back and saying, let's work out the meta. We'll play a scaling comp, and eventually we'll outlast your team. Like worked against Kingzone, worked against Griffin and their Pantheon Talia. They took a lot of standard parts that, as a whole, led to some priority problems in lane. They didn't have much to play around. But G2 are a team, kind of like IG, who are different to the standard LCK team, and they were able to get over the line and end the game. You know, from 18 to 22, there were no further objectives gained by G2. They'd already taken the outer ring of turrets, and we're already saying, is this where the fight back comes out? No, the game's over. Like we've seen so much in 2019. So G2 played G2 style. SKT tried to work out what G2 is all about, and G2 win.
Yeah, for SKT, it's going to be about how much and how quickly can they learn here in the group stages. For G2, more of the same will do them quite well in this tournament. For more on that victory, though, Shox is standing by with the G2 bot laner for an interview.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm here with Perks after G2 opens up at MSI by beating SKT. SKT rumored to be one of the strongest teams here. What does it mean for you to take them down in your very first game at MSI?
Well, it feels good, but it doesn't feel anything special. I just want to win every game, right? And it doesn't feel that great because I felt the draft was kind of bad. So when if they play a better draft, then they should have more hope. And yeah, I mean, it feels good to win, right? Like I don't know what to say. I actually counted yesterday. I lost every opening game so far in my career. I played 4 of them, and I lost all 4 of them. So winning now against SKT, it just feels nice. Yeah, times have changed.
It's a fantastic start indeed. When I looked at the game, you guys got ahead really early, but it wasn't through getting as many kills, which is usually what happens in Europe. Was that a conscious effort versus SKT, and maybe going into the rest of MSI, playing a bit of a different style?
No. I think we were playing the same as we usually play. I just think they are better than opposition in Europe. So they've defended like our dive stop and our like threats and stuff. And they also played, I mean, they played well from behind. So it wasn't that easy to just snowball against them. So they're just a better team than European teams. But we played the same way. And yeah, I'm happy with how we played.
Yeah, fair assessment. Around 20 minutes, there was this feeling of this is SKT. They have Teddy who can be so strong in these team fights. Was there ever fear in the team that you could lose it at that point in time before that Baron? Or were you just confident after the first phase that you were going to close it out?
I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I didn't have any fear. I don't, like in game, I only look for ways to win the game or what to do to win the game. And this game, I was really ahead. So I was just calling to wait for my 3rd item because I would get a lot faster than Ezreal, and then we could just force a fight and get Nash, hopefully. And it wasn't really, I don't know how the fight even started. I feel like
you stepped forward. I'm sorry, yeah.
They just tried to go on me, and then because I wanted to bait the fight, and then they took the bait, and then we got Nash of that. So it was pretty nice, and big props to Mickey. I have to mention again, he hasn't played for 3 months solo queue. And we just started screaming 2 days ago with him, and he played so well again. So I don't know, I'm just lucky to play with him.
Yeah, it was wonderful to see. I do want to ask about your performance as well, because this is your first international tournament as an AD carry. And in the first game, you take down one of the most hyped guys at MSI in Teddy. How do you feel about your performance as AD carry going forward?
Well, I feel like it was kind of like his support fault and also draft. And I think Teddy played really well from like what I could see. So yeah, I mean, I don't really feel any pressure or hype, or honestly, like it's just like at this point it's just another day in the building. So I just want to make sure that me and my team are feeling as comfortable and as happy to play every game on stage. And I just feel very comfortable with my team. So I don't have any worries, and even because we haven't come over many problems yet, but when we come over them, we need to solve them. And it's just the first game of the MSI, right?
Yeah.
We can't say yet for sure, but we played well now.
Yeah, I have to say cool, calm, and collected. So are you taking down IG later?
That's the plan, yeah.
Great. We'll be looking forward to that. No, thank you, Perks. Fantastic first game here at MSI of G2 Esports. We are going to take a small break, but when we